All right, let's talk card game investing and how I'm applying the same framework I use to make $100,000 a month trading options in the stock market as I am to my recent card game purchases, including Pokemon, MetaZoo, Flesh and Blood, Cryptic. Now, this didn't happen overnight. 6 months leading up to it, I was averaging about 5 figures a month net profit, and about a year leading up to that, I was doing a little over 1,000 a month net profit. This is all net profit, by the way, cash in the bank. Like I said in previous videos, if you're doing this as an investment, you need to visualize the entire trade from start to finish. If you're starting with cash, you need to visualize the whole process until you end with cash. It gets a little wonky because some of this card game stuff you kind of hold for a few years. But remember, you don't make the purchase unless you visualize the entire trade. So if you can't see yourself selling this stuff down the road, or maybe it's too far down the road, it may not be the investment for you. So a quick example on the framework that I'm using. I mentioned a little bit in my recession video. I'll put a link in the description to the recession video I made on kind of how to do this stuff. Let's say you need to go to the grocery store. The grocery store is down the street from your house. You've been there 1,000 times. You know exactly how to go before you even get there. You get in your car or a bike or walk or whatever you're doing, and you take that left, go down the road, and you find out the road is closed. Now, before you do anything, in your head, you think, all right, well, I can go down the street to the right and, come around and come on the backside of the grocery store. I can go down the street to the left. But there's that really nice person that always waves to me that's sitting on the street corner, and I get social anxiety when people wave to me. So, you know what, let me take the path on the right. You just predicted your future. You predicted the route you're going to take before you even got there. And this is the framework I use to scale up to a pretty decent size trading options in the stock market. Now, the framework is simple. However, there's a lot more than just two paths when you're trying to predict something like a stock price on a weekly option. So just because it's simple doesn't mean it's easy. I maintain these levels for January, February, and March before basically having a full and total mental breakdown. I was doing all this while still working 50 hours a week at the firehouse. And I had to plan my trades around when I'm working at the firehouse to make sure that I'm completely out of a position before I go to work. It's basically mentally exhausting. I always thought that these finance guys were stressed out from not knowing if they made the right decision, if their investment was going to work or not. But I can tell you that's not true. I wouldn't take trades that I thought would lose me money. That's just gambling. The stress comes from going down all the paths, exploring all the different roads which can get you to a possible price. The stress of figuring all that out is where these guys crack, or at least I cracked. I don't know, maybe there's finance guys. I know $100,000 is a lot of money for me. For some guys out there, it's not a lot of money, but unfortunately, like I said, I still had to go to work full time as a fireman while I did all this. I started moving into collectibles back at the end of January because when you're dealing with stock options, they expire. So you're constantly racing the clock. They depreciate in value as time gets closer to expiration. Collectibles, if you buy the right thing, can actually go up over time. So I basically flipped time over. Time was working against me, and now time is on my side. So in a way, it kind of sucks because I found a way to make $100,000 a month, but the way to get there is just not sustainable, at least for me, the way I'm doing things. I made all my trades on my phone, and I use a laptop to do my research. The same phone that's recording this video. I would take screenshots of changing open interest every day. I wouldn't subscribe to any crazy thing. So even though I took a simple approach, it didn't make it easy. And going back to what I said about there's only so many different paths you could take to get to your destination. The example with the roads, each road has a different speed limit. Like each variable holds a different weight that could pull a stock price up or down. So like I was just saying, if it was easy, I would continue to do it. I'm gonna make a video about specifically just options trading and kind of the story. It came with a lot more problems than you would think. Full disclaimer, don't get your hopes up. You're not gonna learn how to make $100,000 a month by watching a 5-minute video on trading options. Now going back to cards and what I've been doing with cards and the approach I've been taking, I'm trying to predict the future, what these companies are gonna do, when they're gonna reprint, how much they're gonna reprint. Like Evolving Skies, I know a couple months ago there was a rumor about a reprint of Evolving Skies and the price went from $190 down to about $170. You really have to think. Everybody thinks they're so smart and everyone thinks they're the smartest person on the internet. But Pokemon probably has a team full of people working on what the demand is and how much product they should put out there. There's probably a team, and that team has inside information that you and I don't have, and they probably can do a better job than you and I about deciding how much stuff should be reprinted. We're letting the smart people do all the thinking. We're just trying to find the likely paths they can take to get to their destination, and then we're gonna go stand in front of it. Hello! I'm mentioning this because when that rumor came out and the price dropped from 190 to 170, they may have been trying to kind of flush out some of these so-called investors to see if the price would collapse enough back to the target price, $143 MSRP. So it's just something to think about. Even though it was just a rumor from a few months ago, it affected the price 10%. And I think it's possible that Pokemon's team of people that know more than you and I probably were looking into this. And maybe that's why a reprint hasn't come. We're trying to make sense of things that hasn't happened yet. We're trying to take the information we have, digest it, find all the possible paths and scenarios to reach our target price. Another thing I want to touch on, investing versus collecting. There's a very, very blurry line between the two. Now, I know people say, well, I'm a collector, but it's nice to know that my collection is worth this much money. Let me give you an example. One of the greatest investors of all time, Scrooge McDuck. That's right, I said it, Scrooge McDuck, the greatest investor of all time. He enjoyed going in his room full of gold and sitting there and enjoying it. He just loved touching gold. He loved his money. So when you hold up your little cards that are near and dear to you, remember that if it's an investment, it's an investment. It's an investment first. Just like Scrooge McDuck, you're allowed to enjoy your investments. Now, what I believe the difference between that and a collection is these 4 cards I just bought for myself. I think these neon cards are really cool. I want them, they're mine, they're not for sale. So if something that you have is not for sale, it's in your collection. If something you have and the plan is to sell it down the road, it's an investment. So draw the line in the sand and have some discipline. So just to recap some things, I wanted to address some of the little haters on TikTok that say I know nothing and I don't know what I'm talking about. You're half correct, because I haven't played Pokemon in 20 years. I haven't played Magic in 20 years. I had no clue who Rudy, the Alpha Investments guy, was. Nope, never heard of him until 3 months ago. There's a lot of players that I'm starting to learn. But as I said, each road has a speed limit. Each variable holds a different weight. So while I don't have all the information, I'm checking all the possible paths these companies can take and where I think the price could go if they travel down said path. Let me know your thoughts about this video. Do you have any questions? I like to take a different perspective on things and not just tell you, oh, buy this. I want to give you information and I want to make you think about things, maybe help you see something from a different perspective. The more people interact with these videos, it kind of gives me ideas to make more videos and better videos. Yeah, let me know what you think down in the comments below. And I don't have a schedule, so you will have to be subscribed with the notification bell turned on if you want to see more videos like this. Bye-bye.